church. Praise the Lord. God has once again given us an opportunity to be in His presence, to worship Him, to adore Him, to come before His presence with gratitude, thankfulness, and joy in our life. Today, what I'm going to speak about is something that is very common, something that I was talking to the senior students of our school a couple of days ago, and then I was, in fact, this came through to me when I was reading about Joshua, about how God encouraged Joshua, but the sermon doesn't have any excerpts from Joshua's book of Joshua or anything. John 8:32. John 8:32 says that you will know the truth, and truth will set you free. And that is a fact of our life. Christian life is based on this, the truth. God, Jesus Himself says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And that is that truth. When we know that truth, when we know that this Jesus will set us free from all sort of bondages, from all sort of weaknesses, problems, troubles, anxieties that we hold in our heart. We cherish, we treasure in our heart. We are redeemed from them. We are living in a world where things are in a chaos, like yesterday we were discussing. Things are in a very bad state. Things that are supposed to be considered to be good are considered bad, and things that are supposed to be bad are considered good. That's the kind of situation we are in this world now. The world's situation is good is evil and evil is good. And our society is under the oppression and attack of the powers of darkness, and there are many victims that we see around of the acts and pranks of the devil. And a very subtle weapon that the devil uses is to make us feel as victims. He tries to victimize us, and more than victimizing us, he tries to make us feel as victims. That is the bigger or more dangerous weapon that the devil uses. Victimizing is one thing, but making us feel victim is something other, something different. Now, when this comes in, when we accept that we are victims, when we start believing that we are victims, the devil very, very, very well knows that he has rendered us useless. He knows that his kingdom has got no threat from us as long as he can make us believe that we are victims. And that is what he always tries. No threat to his domain, no threat to his kingdom, no threat to his rule, because we have accepted and believed that we are victims. As I titled the sermon, Victorious, Not Victims. But the problem is that we are considering ourselves as victims, not victorious. Even though we know that Jesus has defeated the devil on the Calvary cross, but still we walk around with drooped heads, accepting, believing that we are victims. We are living in an era where even the legal system is going haywire. The legal system itself is going haywire. Violence is rampant in every area. We know in the past days, if we have checked out the news, we know how things have been going around in northern part of India. In UP, MP, Bihar, these places, what's happening, we know. How chaotic the situation is. Criminals are going free on the streets. And they are able to do anything and everything. And you know what? The defense or the argument that is given against this atrocity of theirs is that they are victims. We find them as victims. They themselves prove themselves as victims. If you look down, look at the fights going on between the higher castes and lower castes and all. What do we see? Both the parties are trying to prove themselves as victims. The lower groups say we have been oppressed. The higher group says that we have been given injustice. And in a way, both of them are victims. So victimizing themselves or making themselves feel as victims or proving themselves as victims has actually justified all sort of atrocities and activities that take place. We look at various kind of cases that come across in court. Some of the courts, a couple of court cases that I was just going through in the Western world. One case where the children murdered the parents, and the defense argued that the children were the victims of the sins of the parents or the unruly life of the parents. And non-exemplary life of the parents is what victimized the children. So they are not the culprits, they're actually the victims. Another murder case, and it was proven by the defense that they were victims of the environment. So anything we do, anything wrong we do, we can justify it by saying that we are victims. And now it's very funny. I keep, whenever I come across something, I post it on Facebook. Every now and then something or the other comes up as a disease or a sickness. Yeah, all of us know that when we were children, we used to feel sad. We used to see frustrated. But never did our parents rush to the doctor saying, my child is going through depression. They never learned that word as a disease. If we felt depressed, they will take us out for a round. They'll take us out on the cycle. My father would take me on my cycle if he felt that I'm feeling sad about something. He'll take me on the bicycle, take me around, buy me a balloon or a chocolate or something, and then bring me back home. Finished. Depression is gone. Yeah? And if I throw tantrums based on depression, then I get 2 slaps. My sickness is gone. But today, the child sits somewhere silently. We rush to the doctor. Doctor, my child, I think, is suffering from depression. Another sickness has come in. I think last year it had come in the news that scientists have discovered that taking selfie is a sickness. So where was this sickness? If that was a sickness, where was the sickness before the mobile phones came in? So another sickness. The defense lawyers, what they bring up is another syndrome called urban stress syndrome. Urban stress syndrome, which makes people murder their parents, murder others. So it's not their fault, they are suffering from sickness. So anything that is wrong is being justified with the help of one or the other term, medical term that is discovered or that is invented, in fact, not even discovered, invented by every wrong thing that is happening in the society. Scientists and doctors are coming up with one or the other names. When the doctors say, your child is going through such and such sickness, parents believe and then starts the treatment, spending thousands and hundreds and thousands. The doctors never say, go and give him a nice whack, he will be fine. None of the doctors would tell us. If we take our children to the doctor, saying that he's throwing tantrums, they'll say, okay, this treatment, this medicine, that medicine, physiotherapy, I don't know what all therapy, they will tell us. But none of the doctors will say, do one thing, take a small stick and give him a nice whack, he'll be fine. Never. But our parents successfully used this medicine on us and we were all fine, fit and healthy so far. And today, children are becoming sick of all these so-called sicknesses, diseases, mental disabilities. It is a pathetic thing. Of course, it sounds like a joke, but the fact is fact. It's a hard fact. It's an harsh fact as well. That we are naming, we are christening all our problems with one or the other names of diseases and sicknesses, and justifying what all wrong we do. And what do? We are victimizing ourselves. We are presenting ourselves as victims. What to do? Oh, I have this problem, you know. People get, even in my childhood, I used to hear, if somebody gets angry and shouts and all, what do they and that time also, just that now we have more sicknesses to call out. In those days, if somebody got angry and frustrated and shouted at somebody else and got short-tempered and all, oh, you know what, I have BP problem. I have high BP, that is why I shout. They don't know because of shouting you are getting high BP. They say it's because of the high BP that I shout. So, what I'm saying is, instead of accepting my fault, I'm justifying my fault with one or the other name, saying that I am the victim. Please sympathize with me. If I'm killing somebody, please don't condemn me. Please sympathize with me. I'm a victim of the conditions of the society. See, I can't bear pain. You know what? When I see people hitting somebody, when I see somebody throwing stones at the poor little dog, my heart goes out to it, and what do? I go and slap that man. So I'm a victim of that kind heart that I have for that dog. What about your kind heart for that man whom you slapped? No. So we are selective about anything that we do, and we have a name to be given to it, proving that we are victims of this urban stress syndrome and so on and so forth. So we all face choices. We all have choices to make. Either we can make ourselves victim, either we can present ourselves as victims, or we can have a free life, an overcomer's life, or a victorious life. We make the choice. We are the ones who make the choice. And choice is in our hand. There is no bifurcation set that you are destined to be victim, so you be victim. And you are victorious, you will be victorious. No, you have the choice to make. What do you want to do? Which way do you want to go? God has called us to rise up above that mentality of being a victim. Galatians 4, 3-6, it says, in the same way, we also, when we were children, were enslaved to the elementary principles of the world. There were some principles that are taught to us, some conditions, some rules and regulations taught to us. We were enslaved to that. But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth a Son, born of woman, born under the law, to, pay attention, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoptions as sons. So from slavery, to redeem us from slavery and bring us into a position of an adopted son and daughter, Christ came. God sent His Son so that we may be called sons and daughters. That is why He sent us. And because you are sons, God has sent the Spirit of His Son into our hearts, crying, Abba, Father. And we've got that right to call out, Abba, Father. So Christ has been sent to us so that we may be redeemed from the mentality of the being victim, from being slaves to becoming a free son with all the rights in the house. That is what God has done. So being a Christian, we've got nothing to do with walking with our head low, hanging down as a victim. So if you have that mentality of victim, please, this is the time that you need to get it out of your system itself. Because God has delivered us from that state of slavery with the power of Jesus Christ. But if we are still going through that victim mentality, that means we are not acknowledging the power of Jesus Christ. Walking in the mentality of victim is not what is wrong, but not accepting, acknowledging the power of Jesus Christ, or proving that Christ is powerless, his blood is powerless, is what is wrong. And that is what we are doing indirectly when we are walking like a victim. If we have to go for this conquerors, like Israel went through as conquerors, a conquering army, then it's necessary that each one of us has to walk in the victory that Christ has given us. We need to walk in that victory. We need to keep our head high and walk. Yesterday, during the prayer, as I mentioned, I had come across that verse. I've read that verse many times, and most of us must have read it, but I had never thought about it. And when the word of God says, be strong, be courageous, it is more like an imploring unto us. I have always taken it as imploring us to, or encouraging us to be courageous, be strong, and that kind of a feeling is attached to it. That kind of an emotion that is attached to it when we hear those words, be strong and be courageous. But Joshua 1:9 says, it's not there. Joshua, it's not there. Joshua 1:9, it says, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? I've read that many times, but the first time I came across it in that essence, that it is not merely an imploring or a request made to us or an encouraging word coming to us, be strong, be courageous, not pacifying us. It is a commandment. God tells Joshua, haven't I commanded you to be strong and courageous? So it is a commandment to the children of God to be strong and courageous. Not merely a counseling done. Not merely an encouragement given, a word of encouragement. No. It is a pure commandment that we have to be strong and courageous. We have to walk in that strength and courage and victory that Christ has given us. Sometimes we don't understand whether we are actually walking under the mentality of victim, or we are actually walking under the mentality of a victorious person. There's the litmus test. Some tests are there if you want me to tell you. There are some indicators which will let us know whether, or help us to discern whether we are walking in that mentality of victimization. And if at all you feel you fall under this category after going through that litmus test, then you can rely on Christ, because we have hope. We have that hope in Christ that He will redeem us from that feeling and that thought. Now, when we looked at the murder instances that I told you about, where the court cases went ahead as defenses, that's something really like an extreme case of murder. None of us have committed any murder, and I believe none of us would go ahead into that kind of a situation where we would commit a murder. So we don't have anything that extreme to decide whether we are walking as victims and trying to prove us victims of the social situation. But some small things, those who are walking under the mentality of victims, they dwell and focus on the past. We will sit, whenever we get some time, what we will do is, we'll sit and focus on the past. Oh, what did I lose? What all things I could have done? And so on and so forth. How things should have been. We will sit and think, if it was like this, it would have been so nice. If this was what happened, it would have been nice. One of my classmates in 12th standard, her father was a tall man and the mother was very short. So my friend was a medium height girl, but her sister was quite tall, and her brother was just as tall as the elder sister. And we all know when men and women, if the man is the same height as the woman, also still the man seems shorter and the woman seems taller, right? So this boy had this complaint, this elder brother, he's the eldest in fact, he had a complaint that why did my father marry a short woman? That is why I am short. If only my father had married a taller woman, then I would have been taller as well. No complaints about why his mother married a tall man. No, the complaint is only about the father marrying a short woman, but mother married a tall man is not a problem at all. Anyways, so thinking about what should have had happened. What should have had been the condition? Ideal situation. This should have happened. This should have happened. That should not have happened in my life. It's all because of that situation. It's all because of this situation. It's all because I did not get this. It's all because I did not get that. And so on and so forth. We keep complaining about the past situation, how things should have been. And they are preoccupied with problems. Problems and problems and problems. Sometimes you go and meet them, ask, how are you? How can I be? That will be the answer. You very nicely with a wide smile and go, hello sister, hello brother, how are you? How do you think I'll be? That's enough to bring down your morale also. Yeah, they will be always, and then you give them one more moment, they will talk about this problem, that problem, here, there, money, health, climate, dogs in the neighborhood, water problem in the society, everything is a problem. You start about anything about their life, they will come out with all the problems possible. They can start from the beginning of the hospital where they were born as well. And they can think about all the probable problems in the cemetery where they are going to be buried as well. They are surrounded with problems, enveloped with problems. And they are always blaming someone else. As I mentioned, that friend of mine, her brother, keep blaming his father. Why did he go and marry a shorter woman? So keep blaming somebody or the other for everything. The way they are is a problem of, or is the crime of somebody else, result of the crime of somebody else. And they find themselves helpless. And finally you say, what to do, pastor? There's no way out. After presenting all the problems, pastor, have you ever come across a life like this? Completely problem. They also know that they are serving only problems to the pastor. The plate doesn't have a tea or coffee or biscuits. Everything is problem, problem, problem. So, but pastor, do you know anyone else who has such problems? So they commit themselves. They present themselves as helpless, and these are symptoms that you are making yourself victims. They feel as they have no control over anything at all. Of course, we don't have control over the situation. We don't have a control over the things external, but you definitely have a control over how you react to the things, how you accept things that come against you, how you face your situations is under your control. But what do they present? I have no control over anything. They feel like they are pawns of a game. What to do? God is sitting over there. I'm just a pawn in that game. He picks me up from here, puts me over here. What can I do? He wants me to fail. I fail. He wants me to fall down. I fall down. He wants me to fall sick. I fall sick. What can I do? So they call themselves as pawns in the hands of God, that everything that is happening has to happen. You can't do anything about it. That's a wrong way of twisting predestination. If if that is how we translate predestination, then why do we do anything at all? Why do we go for a job? Why do we get out of the bed? Just simply lie over there. Whatever is predestined will happen. Why do you want to get up from the bed and go out, take bath, get ready, go to work, work, slog there, earn money at the end of the month, and then again spend it on something else, then again do the same thing? Why? Predestination, no? Just lie in your bed. Whatever has to happen will happen. If you need to be feeded, food will come down from heaven. Yeah? If you need to take bath, then there will be a flood that comes through your house. Relax. Lie there in your bed. Everything will happen. Predestination. We translate everything into whatever we want in the way that we want. And they will always feel that they are picked on. Anyone laughs, it's about me. You entered and someone got up and went out, because he doesn't like me. Man, he needs to go to the washroom, please. He can't hold on. Let him go to the washroom and come back, then he'll talk to you. No, he went because of me. Everyone is picking on me. And their conversation is always with, if only in the past, and what if in the future. So all that has happened, wrong. If only they were right, things would have been better. And why are you not doing something to get things straightened up? What if things go wrong if I do something? Please know that you are acting like a victim and not living a life of a victorious person. Please understand that. If that is the case, then we need to know that we are acting like victims and not like victorious. And someone who's consumed with all these symptoms that we see, that we read, that we heard about, will definitely, without any doubt, have a problem in standing straight and walking with head high. They will always walk with their head low, hanging down, with a feeling of victim, no sense of victory at all. Because if there is a sense of victim, there is no sense of victory. And no, from the deceitful and unjust men, deliver me. For you are the God in whom I take refuge. Why have you rejected me? And then comes the important line. Why do I go about mourning? Why do I go about mourning? Because of the oppression of the enemy? Because people are oppressing me? Because the society is against me? Because my friends have gone against me? That is why I should walk and go about mourning? Crying, oh, the world is against me. Oh, everything is against me. The situation is against me. The climate is against me. You get out of the house to go to the market. Oh, it's so hot. It's hot for everyone, not just for you. And there are hundreds of thousands of people who are outside, standing outside in the same sun. You think you are the only person who's facing that sun. Oh, it's so hot. Life has become so difficult. Why? Isn't it the same for everyone? Is not everyone facing the same situation? The only difference is that they have decided to be victorious and you have decided to be victim of the sun. They have decided that they will make use of the time when the sun is shining. And you have decided that you will cry because the sun is shining. Think about a situation where you will not be able to see the sun for days, months, weeks. Those who are in north and colder places, in India itself, with colder places, other places, if it's very cold, the sun, you don't get to see the sun during winters for weeks. No sun at all. The fog is so much, you don't see the sun at all. For weeks go by without the sun. Even your dryer of your washing machine won't work properly. You make the clothes spin in your dryer for spinner for half an hour and take it out, still it will feel wet. That is the kind of situation. And you are crying, oh, it's sunny, so hot. You don't make use of the situation. We always cry about it. Why do I go about mourning? Because of the oppression of the enemy? Send out your light and your truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to your holy hill and to your dwelling. We have the light. Over here in Psalm, the psalmist is praying for light to be sent. But we know that 2,000 years ago, light has already been sent to us. And light was not just sent to us to show us the way, but the light was sent to us so that we also may get lit up. So that the word could say, you are the light of the world. The light came, the candle came to lit up these candles on earth. Not just so that in the Old Testament, when Israelites walked out of Egypt, they were walking under the guidance of the light. In the darkness, in the night, there was a pillar of fire which showed them the path, which showed them the way. So they just had to follow. They were following the light. God had sent them the light and they were following the light. They were being led out of the darkness to light. But 2,000 years ago, when the light came down to earth for us, now we are not seeking light. We are not seeking light that we may go after the light to stay away from darkness. But the light is given to us. The light is given to us so that we burn and give light to others. You are the light and the salt of the earth. It's not just said like that. It's said so that we give light to others. We become a part of that light. We become a part of Jesus. And we become a light to others. Let them bring me to your holy hill, is what the psalmist says. So with light in us, do we need another light? Though the psalmist says, please send your light so that I may get led out of this darkness. Get led out of this mourning. But if light is already in, if tongues of fire came down, then that fire is still in us, burning. It's still in us burning. We don't need any more light. The light is already in us. The word of God is in us. The word of God, which is said to be a light unto my path, is there already. It's already there inside. It's been given to us. We need the truth of God's Spirit, God's word, to set us free. And that is the only thing that can break us from the bondages of the past and give us the sense of victory. His principles, His rules, His regulations, His instructions, His commandments are going to give us life. They're the guiding principles of our lives. If we really want to break those bondages, we need to follow that. Now, if at all we are, now I've given you the litmus test. If you feel that you are undergoing the situation of feeling like a victim, if at all you sit and think about the past, wishing that things were a little different from what it were, or things happened in a little different manner, and you're blaming everything that you are today to those situations, then you need to know that you need to break that. You need to come out of it. If you are living in self-sympathy, self-pity, you need to get out of it. You need to face that situation. If you had a pain, you have to deal with it. You have to face it. You have to take control over your life. We might be looking hard at ourselves and wondering how much we have made ourselves a victim. If we have found out how much we have made ourselves a victim, then our job now is to make our path straight. to get into that path. From if we are lying beside the road in the pit and lying over there and crying, it's time that you get up and move out. Come on to the straight path that is in front of you. Hebrew 12 to 15 says, therefore lift your drooping hands and strengthen your weak knees and make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed. Strive for peace with everyone and for the holiness without which no one will see the Lord. See to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God, that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble, and by it many become defiled. It just says, make your path straight. Excuse me. If something is lame, weak, let it not be put out of joint. Or it says, let it not be broken, fractured completely. It's just lame. Let it be. Strengthen it. Don't let it broken down. You need to make your path straight for your feet. When we look for all those, when we do an introspection, when we look inside our heart, look for all those painful areas, look for all those areas where we are finding ourselves as victims, we would definitely come to know that there are some major issues with our unforgiveness, bitterness, and resentment to deal with that. The root of all those problems that we have would definitely lead to some way or the other that we are not being able to forgive somebody or something. We would know that we are filled with bitterness toward somebody, something, or some situation or some event in our life. We are filled with bitterness, unforgiveness, and a resentment to deal with it. We know that, yes, I have a feeling of unforgiveness towards that brother or sister who had done this 20 years ago to me. I know that. I know that I have still bitterness inside my heart for that person. Well and good. You have identified your problem. But the problem is not yet resolved if you have a resentment to deal with it. You resent to deal with it, the problem continues to be in your life. The victim, the feeling of victim, the the mentality of being a victim continues to be with you until you shed that resentment to deal with that situation that you have in your heart. Okay, fine. We have decided that that person has done something wrong to me. Now, I don't want to beat him up, so what I'm going to do is, I will not meet him at all. I don't want to beat him, so I will not meet him. If I don't meet him, I will not beat him. But have you forgiven? No. Has your bitterness gone? No. Have you decided to deal with it? No. I am resenting any sort of dealing with that situation. I say, I don't want to talk about. When somebody comes and tries to tell us, brother, I know you are upset about that. Please do not talk about that person to me. It will spoil our relationship also. Have you heard that statement many times? See, I love you very much. You love me very much. I have no problem with you. Anything you want, any help you need, you just let me know. I'll make sure that I get you that help. But please do not talk about that. Otherwise, our relationship will become sour. That will go sour if you talk about it, which means I am not ready to deal with that. Pastor tries to solve the issues, makes you sit down, relax, listen, understand. See, he is also, Pastor, he's my brother, that is why I'm not doing anything. Pastor, I am a Christian, that is why I'm not doing anything. If not, you don't know me what I was. With this much, I would have cut him into pieces. But because I'm a Christian,
So being a Christian has become a bondage in your feet. So you're talking about Christianity as a bondage? You're talking about Christianity as a slavery? When Christ says you are set free, when Christ says you know the truth and the truth will set you free, and you are saying that truth has made me a bonded slave. Because I'm a Christian, I'm not able to cut him up, chop him up into pieces. If only. See what I said? Their thought will be stuck over if only. If only I was not a Christian. If only I had not got baptized. Or if only when I was baptized, if I had only kept my hand outside the tub, the baptism pond, then I would have used this hand to chop him into pieces. If only. So please don't talk about him. I have resentment towards dealing with that situation. Then you are a victim. You're not victorious. Don't call yourself a Christian and say that because I'm a Christian, I'm not able to do this. Talk about what you can do because you are a Christian. Not cry over what you cannot do it because you're a Christian. That means you're not happy with being a Christian. I cannot do this because I'm a Christian. I cannot do that because I'm a Christian. Talk about what you can do. We don't. We're always crying, resenting about what we're feeling sad about what we can't do because we are a Christian. If you have started feeling sad about something that you are not able to do because you're a Christian, then you are not a Christian. Because what you do and what you don't do is not guided or controlled by being a Christian. It's because of your conscience. It's because of your relationship with God. It's because of your love with God. If a son says, I cannot go out of my house because I am the son of this father. I cannot go away from my father because I am the son of this father. Is that the problem? Or you want to say, I do not want to do this because I am the son of this father? Our language makes the difference. Is it, I can't do because I'm a son of God? Is it, I can't do this, I can't go there, I cannot participate in this, I'm not allowed to do this, I'm not able to do this because I'm a Christian? Or, I don't want to do this because I'm a Christian. I don't want to do this because I am saved. I don't wish to be a part of this because I'm a child of God. Is that our statement? Our statements make a difference. Our statements tell whether we are victims or whether we are victorious. It should be you who decides why you don't do it and not blame it on somebody else. Do not even blame it on God. What to do? Christ came, died, gave his blood for me. Now see what is my situation. I can't even go and fight with somebody. See, I have to listen to all those bad words that they're using against me only because this Jesus Christ came to earth, gave his life for me. So sad, no? We feel so sad about it. If that is the state of our mind, then we are not victorious. We are still dealing with the mentality of victim. We need to get out of it. We need to get out of this situation. We need to forgive those who have caused us pain or we think are the reason for our pain. Many a times, I'll tell you, many a times, if you go down to the root of your problems, the root of your pains, you will find that it's all in your mind. You thought that he is the reason for your problem. And for that, and that is the reason why in Mark 11:25-26, it says, whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone. If you have kept anything against anyone in your heart, forgive that before you pray, so that your Father also who is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses. We, most of the time, decide in our heart that somebody else is responsible for my plight. The fact may not be the same. The fact would be far from the belief that we have. But yes, still we believe, and that is why it says, if you have anything against somebody. It doesn't say that if somebody has done something against you. The word doesn't say. If somebody has offended you, somebody has hurt you, someone has done something bad to you, someone has beaten you. No. It says, if you have something against somebody, then forgive. That is, you have created it inside your mind that something is wrong. Somebody is wrong. That's all in your mind. The situation is wrong. The people are wrong. It's in your mind. Deal with that. Forgive. And then stand and pray. Now, once we have cleared up all these bitterness and that anger and unforgiveness, we start to follow, to focus on solution of our situation. But as I said, in the litmus test I said, people focus on the problems. We spend so much time and energy and conversation on the problem itself that by the end of the time, the whole session that we have spent on focusing on the problem, we do not have any energy left in us to talk about or think about or find a solution for that problem. We are so dead tired that now we think, okay, let me live with this problem itself.